There's a couple of calls that I make every year, predictions, comments about the industry. And it's not that I take a great deal of pride in being right, more so that I hope that these predictions allow you to make the right call and to steer correctly before it's too late. Here comes one of them. That's this week on the Badass Agile podcast.
Greetings, team. Welcome to the Badass Agile podcast. I'm your host, Chris Williams.
My friend, thank you for tuning in yet again. I appreciate you. I know there's so many things you could be listening to, and yet you choose me, and I'm honored. I have a prediction to make. Actually, it's more of a plea, really, when you think about it. 2024 is going to be the year of the entrepreneur/intrapreneur practitioner. It doesn't matter where in business you play, this applies to you. But first, let's take a moment to remember why we're here. To create an elite tribe of leaders who truly serve their clients and communities by doing what matters and what works, relentlessly chasing value and excellence like a badass. There's so many resources out there about what you need to do to be agile, but we're focused on who you need to become in order to lead teams. So let's hammer down those fundamentals to create a truly unique and powerful force in this industry. And if this helps you, remember, share this episode with your friends. Well, there's no questioning that our industry is in trouble. If you work as a scrum master or a coach, you already know how difficult it is to find a position or keep a position. And if you're just breaking into the industry, it's probably even worse. One of the big reasons for that, because I think we've had it a little bit too easy for a little bit too long. And at this moment, what we do has lost our shine. And in tough economic times, when everyone's forced to reevaluate what's valuable, what should we keep paying for, and where do we cut, there's a real shift in attitude that's happening. It's a required shift in attitude. It's hard to cut something that you think might be valuable. So very often a reevaluation is necessary to decide, is this something we want to cut? Is Agile really doing anything for us? For some people, it's been a reawakening. For some companies, it's time to ask, why is this here? What does this do for us? Did we assume that this worked when it doesn't? Did we overestimate how much value that it adds? Has Agile's time simply come, and it's time to put that final dart into it? And so you can see by the number of articles on Is Agile Dead, a topic that we covered probably 2 or 3 years ago on this podcast, is starting to become more prevalent, but also it annoys people. And it annoys people because it scares people, because the message is uncomfortable. Has it lost its shine permanently? The answer is yes and no. Agile is a thing. If you're going to label it, if you're going to brand it, is definitely in a bit of trouble. The values and the virtues that it represents, on the other hand, are still alive and well. Is there a better way of doing things? Is there a way of doing things that's more value-based, priority-based, eliminating waste, all of those wonderful things that we love about agility? Those are still really great questions, but the thing is, it's no longer sufficient to just be agile, to stand up a team, to transform an organization, to staple agility or one of its frameworks onto a way of doing things and simply assume that's going to be enough. That's going to be pleasing to the bottom line and the people who look at it. What you must do in 2024 is to figure out, I've said this many times, where's the value? And adding value means looking at a business or a portion of its business and saying, what do you really need? What hurts? What would help you? What do you want more of? What do you want less of? What are the key things that you measure and care about that aren't performing the way you wish they were? And what can we do about it? Now, people who find solutions to a business's most pressing problems add value. We also call those people entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur is somebody who creates value in the marketplace by solving an important and valuable problem. An intrapreneur is someone who does the same thing, but from within an organization, within the context of your well-defined role or a paid position within the organization. Both the entrepreneur and the intrapreneur are radically different from a traditional concept of a job. Most of the time, the value that you add is something that nobody asked you to find or to address. Maybe you noticed it. Maybe you heard some common threads through repeated conversations. Maybe there's something in you that's boiling to give, a specialty, a passion, a purpose that you know deep down, if you brought it to an organization and its customers, it'd have a great impact. If you want to break away from the technical zombie scrum that has a terrible reputation and is slowly being extricated from the big organizations, if you want to at very least not follow the money down the drain, if you don't want to be on the exit train as we watch Agile slowly lose sway and leave the world of business and industry, then you have to make this shift this year. Now you can say, no, I don't believe you, I don't care, I don't want, I don't like, and that's all good. Just recognize if you're uncomfortable with the feeling of being left behind, like we're losing grip, like we're losing control, and you can't do anything about it, even though you desperately wish that we could, this is the change that you have to make, because nobody is going to take the damaged Scrum and damaged Agile and put it back on the throne. Time for change is here. And if you don't change, you might find yourself this year taking a job or a position that pays way less than your minimum standard, but you find yourself taking it anyway because you feel like you have no choice. You may find yourself taking a job that's basically a glorified project manager or something else. Scrum Master / Project Admin, Agile Project Manager, Agile Team Manager. Doing things that you know in your heart are not Agile. They're not the things that you came for. They're not the values that you want to defend. But you take it anyway because you don't have any other choice. You may find yourself chasing a certification or latching on to a new trend that you don't like, that you don't believe in, that you don't really want, but the industry has convinced you that you now need. When supply exceeds demand, the customer has choice, and you have no choice except to do what they say and to do what they want. Now, if that life doesn't sound good to you, then the notion of an entrepreneur and intrapreneur is the logical choice. So let's say I've convinced you. What does that mean? What do you need to do? It means that you need to strengthen up on the skills that very few people are good at. Number 1, listening. Stay tuned into the conversations that are happening all around you. Ask really great questions of the people who are hired and paid to keep the company rolling during difficult times. What do they wish they had? What do they say they would love to fix? What bothers them? Make studious notes. Keep track of everything that you hear. Go back over those notes, ponder them, think about them. Ask yourself, where could I be solving? Number 2, be open and excited about any and all opportunities. Let go of how you defined yourself in the past. Whatever role you served and whatever department you served in no longer matters. Be prepared to do something completely new. Shift your focus to solving real, valuable business problems. When you listen and combine that with an attitude of openness, opportunities will show up everywhere. Now, those opportunities may be outside the software development team room, and I think it's important that we start thinking that way. Some of the problems facing business now are what? How do we adopt and adjust to new economic realities? How do we adopt and adjust to disruption? How do we create better cultures? Why are our teams burning out, and what can we really do to finally help solve it? How do we deal with all of the brand new issues that emerged as a result of a post-pandemic world? Return to office mandates, the broken trust between leadership and the people who do the doing every day. These are real problems. Worldwide, customers are cutting back on things that we didn't think twice about spending on in the past. Information is everywhere. Real competency, especially in areas like leadership and innovation, is much harder to come by. Can you help solve those problems? Because if you can, there's a demand right now. No matter how cash-strapped organizations are, they will always invest in people who can find solutions, but they won't necessarily invest in a Scrum Master because they no longer see the value. They no longer see the value automatically. And that should be a real writing on the wall moment for all of us. What we did 10 years ago is no longer sufficient. The world has changed, the economy has changed, and people are clamoring for something new, something better, even something different. The true agilist who can lead into the future knows how to spot opportunities. So the third quality you need to have is the ability to pitch value, to find financial and executive support within an organization, to be able to experiment and validate and measure, not only to incorporate learning, but also to prove back to the people with the purse strings that what we're doing is working, that it has potential, that we should continue. These are the master skills. I don't care how good your retro game is. I don't care how good your stand-up is. If you don't have these skills, you're going to be competing on unfair and meaningless criteria. How many certifications have you got? Can you do safe for us? And you're going to see people getting your role, your job, your opportunity based on how good their resume is, how efficiently it meets and beats the algorithm. That's the wrong reason to choose the leaders of the future, the people who are going to drive us through the changes that we're seeing in the marketplace today. Be that person. Become the leader that every organization wants right now. Do it today. Dip your toe in. Master those 3 skills. Listen better. Have a value and solution-oriented mindset. And be the person who knows how to pitch value. Find the money. Find the support. Become the leader. If you'd like to learn more about how to get these skills, it's time to join the Forge. We're now recruiting for Cohort 8, starting in February 2024. Links in the show notes below. Come join me for an info session. Also, if you want to get better at presenting, speaking in public, and influencing other people, check out my latest digital product. It's called Rivet the Room. Everything you need is in the show notes below. I thank you again for being a loyal listener. I look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, stay badass.